Hello, Clippers. It's Mrs. Vance here. You can see I'm in a little different spot. And I'm reading at my house because I'm just more comfortable here. I can't promise that I'll do it every week, but it's my favorite place to read. And look at, I got my dog Winnie. She's hard to see because she's so dark. But she's sitting here listening to the story today. I hope you stay for the whole chapter. So I have a different story for you today. The past two stories were realistic fiction in modern day, but this particular one happens to be historical fiction. So historical fiction are realistic stories that take place in a past time, and the one that I share with you today is from World War II. It is about the Jewish concentration camps, and it's called Prisoner B-3087. It is based on a true story by Ruth and Jack Runer. Heavy duty topic, but one that a lot of people think about. Historical fiction for me is it helps me to relate to or understand past topics in a way that's a little bit more appealing to me than nonfiction reading. So I can learn, and sometimes it's obviously fiction, but the background and history and some of the characters sometimes are real people. Like in this one, they'll talk about Hitler and things like that. So it's got real characters in it as well as fictionalized ones. So let's read. Let's look at chapter 1. But it begins in Krakow, Poland, in 1939 to 1942. This first section, and please forgive me as if I butcher some of the pronunciations. I will do my best, but there are some Jewish words in here and some German ones that I those are not my preferred language or my language that I know very well. So I apologize if you know it, something's pronounced differently. Here we go, chapter 1. If I had known what the next 6 years of my life were going to be like, I would have eaten more. I wouldn't have complained about brushing my teeth or taking a bath or going to bed at 8 o'clock at night. I would have played more, laughed more. I would have hugged my parents and told them how much I loved them. But I was 10 years old, and I had no idea of the nightmare that was to come. None of us did. It was the beginning of September, and we all sat around the big table in the dining room of my family's flat on Krakausa Street, eating and drinking and talking. My parents, my aunts and uncles, my cousins, and me, Jacob, although everyone called me by my Polish nickname, Janek. The Jews must disappear from Europe. That's what Hitler said, Uncle Moshe, reaching for another pastry. I don't know how much more clear he could be. I shivered. I had heard Hitler, the German Führer, giving speeches on the radio. Führer meant leader in German. It was what the Germans called their president now. Hitler was always talking about the Jewish menace and how Germany and the rest of Europe should be Jew-free. I was a Jew and I lived in Europe, and I didn't want to disappear. I loved my house and my city. The British and French have already declared war on him, my father said. Soon the Americans will join them. They won't let Germany roll all over Europe. He's already annexed Austria and Czechoslovakia, my Uncle Abram said, and now he invades Poland. My father sipped his coffee. Mark my words, this war won't last more than 6 months. My uncles argued with him, but he was my father, so I believed him. Enough politics, my mother said. She got up to clear the table, and my aunts helped her. Janek, why don't you put it on a show for us? He built his own projector. I ran to my room to get it. It wasn't a film projector like the one at the movie theater. It was a slide projector I had made by mounting a light bulb on a piece of wood and positioning wooden plates with lenses from magnifying glasses in front of it. I could show pictures on the wall or do shadow puppet shows. My cousins helped me hang a white sheet in the doorway of the sitting room, and when everyone was seated, I plugged in the projector and clicked on the radio. I like to have musical accompaniment, like a movie soundtrack. When the radio warmed up, I found a Count Basie song that was perfect and started my show. Using cardboard cutouts of cowboys, Indians, stagecoaches, and horses I had glued to sticks, I projected a shadow show about a sheriff in the American Wild West who had to protect his town from bandits. John Wayne Westerns were my favorite films, and I took all the best parts from his movies and made them into a big story. My family laughed and cheered and called out to the characters like they were real. They loved my shows, and I loved putting them on for them. I was never prouder than when I got my father to laugh. Maybe one day I would go to America and work in the movies. Aunt Gisela would often ruffle my wavy hair and say, "You look like a movie star, Yannick, with your dark blonde hair and big eyes." I was just getting to the part where the bandit leader robbed the town bank and was squaring off for a shootout with the hero when the music on the radio stopped mid-song. At first I thought the radio's vacuum tube had blown, but then a man's voice came on the radio. "Ladies and gentlemen, we interrupt this broadcast with the news that the German army has reached Krakow." "No!" my father said. "So soon?" Uncle Moshe said. "It's been only 6 days. Where's the Polish army?" I came out from behind the sheet in the doorway to listen. While the radio announcer talked about Polish forces withdrawing to Lodz and Warsaw, there was a big boom, and my mother's teacups rattled in their saucers. My cousins and I ran to the window to look outside. Dark smoke curled in the sky above the rooftops of Podrgaz, our neighborhood. Someone cried out on the next street, and the church bells of Wawel Cathedral rang out in alarm. I was too late. The Germans were here. If I had only known then what I know now, I would have run. I wouldn't have stopped to pack a bag or say goodbye to my friends or to even unplug my projector. None of us would have. We would have run for the woods outside of town and never looked back. But we didn't. We just sat there in my family's flat, listening to the radio and watching the sky over Krakow turn black as the Germans came to kill us. It's scary, terrifying. If you are at all interested, you're going to send me a chat on Microsoft Teams. There are other books in the library as well as we about this topic, both fiction and nonfiction. So if you have an interest in any more of those are something you can also send me a message about. And what I intend to do over the next through all these First Chapter Fridays is highlight different genres. So this week it's historical fiction. Next week, I don't know. Tune in and you'll find out. Bye for now.